So yeah, second channel video, and the reason why is I want this video to be on a second channel because, well, it is the more sane side of the fan base that'll be watching the second channel. So I kind of want to focus more on that, but we got to talk about this right here, with Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever coaching staff. Can you argue as a fan that the Fever coaching staff is killing the hype of Caitlin Clark? The Fever coaching staff is mismanaging Caitlin Clark. Can you argue that? Yeah, absolutely. But there's a very, very different between arguing that a player is being mismanaged, which is an opinion a fan can have and they're entitled to, and accusing the Indiana Fever coaching staff of sabotaging Caitlin Clark. They're not trying to do that. They're trying to win. They're trying to win. Every single player and every single coach is trying to win. They're doing whatever they can to win. And is there a world where this doesn't work out because nobody's on the same page? Yeah. Yeah. Is there... Who is right in this scenario of Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark? I don't know. There's a world where they're both wrong, and there's a world where they're both right. There's a world where Stephanie White's play style can win a championship, and there's a world where Caitlin Clark's play style can win a championship. Both of those can simultaneously be correct. But Caitlin Clark wanting to play her style, being at odds with the style the coach wants, is not going to win a championship. Either or. You're not going to win a championship in general when that happens. But it could both be wrong. Caitlin Clark's style could never win a championship. Stephanie White's style could never win a championship. There is a world where both of those are true as well. They could both be right. They could both be wrong. It is very clear that there is a contrasting stylistically between the coach and the star player. That's very, very clear. It is one of these things where, again, stylistically, it might not work. And there's a big difference between saying that stylistically it won't work and saying it's sabotage. They're two very, very different things. And even when people are talking about, these coaches are grabbing Caitlin, it's these coaches spent the entire offseason with Caitlin. There's obviously a closer relationship between Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark, or between all these coaches and Caitlin Clark than any of the other players. Well, not obviously, but you would assume there is. You would assume there's a closer relationship due to the fact that realistically they've spent an entire offseason together. And look, I'm going to be real here. The Indiana Fever looks like it's an absolute shit show. The only time they look good is when they throw everything out the window and go wing it. And ironically, Stephanie White might have pulled Jesse Marsh. Stephanie White's system without Caitlin Clark was terrible. But when they got in all the hardship players, Stephanie White herself said, we didn't run any actions, we just tried to simplify the game. And Caitlin Clark's whole philosophy is push the pace, simplify the game, create open looks. Caitlin Clark plays basketball in its simplest form. Caitlin Clark wants to simplify the game, and ironically, they nearly made the finals by simplifying the game. Stephanie White is now putting her system in. There's a world where it doesn't work. There is a world where it doesn't work. It is realistically one of these things where Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark probably don't last past the season. And to say they're going to fire Stephanie White, I think they're more likely to trade Caitlin Clark than fire Stephanie White. Why? Because Stephanie White is Indiana. She is more important to old WNBA. The Indiana Fever for their organization, it's like why the Chicago Sky chose Courtney Vandersloot over Angel Reese. Because Courtney Vandersloot is Chicago Sky basketball. Stephanie White is Indiana. She is Indiana. So, look, they might be thinking Stephanie White's going to come in. She's going to be here for 20 years. She's going to take over from Kelly. She's going to be what Lynn Dunn was. She's going to be huge to the organization. So, look, if we see a whole trade graphic and Caitlin Clark has been traded in 2027, if this season doesn't work out, don't be surprised. But on neither side, Caitlin Clark's not trying to sabotage Stephanie White's system, nor is Stephanie White trying to sabotage Caitlin Clark. Your coaching staff trying to sabotage her. This is a group of people doing what they think is right, and it might not work, and it probably won't. And there can only be one champion every single year, and every year in basketball, players are on teams that underperform. Players are on teams, star players are on teams. Paige Bueckers won 10 games last year. It took Angel Wilson until year 4 to make the playoffs. Or year 3 to make the playoffs. It took Kelsey Plum until year 4 to make the playoffs. And it took Angel Wilson playing on a team with her, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Liz Cambridge, Angel McCautry, Kayla McBride, and Dearica Hamby. It took her playing with all of them to make the playoffs for the first time. So, look, we are overanalyzing every single interaction between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White, and as fans, that's what you do. As fans, that's what you do, and I'm not going to get too much into this. And you can dislike. I don't think Stephanie White's the right coach for the Fever, for Caitlin Clark. I don't think she's the right coach. Like, I have a lot of flaws. I'm not a fan of Stephanie White. I'm not a fan of a lot of what Stephanie White does. But there's a big difference between not being a fan of it and criticism and in going past the ledge and claiming malice and claiming sabotage, which it's not. And that should not be a thing that people are talking about.